Welcome, everybody, to tonight's Fit Talk with Cornesia and Deva. I am Deva McKenzie, and I have been a health and fitness coach now for going on 2 years. I started my health and fitness journey as a way to really just make sure that I was taking out all of those obstacles that were hindering me from fulfilling my goals and my destiny, and to kind of prevent any of those like family medical history things that we know are always looming in the background. I wanted to make sure all of that was out of my way when it came to really fulfilling God's plan for my life and being there for my daughter and setting a great example. So that got me to being a fitness coach and losing 50 pounds, becoming a Size Live instructor, getting certified in personal and advanced nutrition, and all these great and wonderful things that bring us to you this Fit Talk show. It really was a way for Cornesia and I to just reach a broader audience of people to kind of help more people and to get our ideas and the information and the knowledge that we've learned along the way out to more people so that you can make better life choices and healthier decisions for you and those around you. Cornesia, you want to tell us a little bit more about you?
Sure. So like you were saying, my name is Cornesia. Some people also call me KP. And I have been on my fitness journey off and on for about 10 years. Was really fumbling my way through, knew a little bit and was trying this and that, but didn't have a whole lot of guidance. So I kind of had to figure it out on my own. But about 3 years ago, I just, got serious. By then I had learned so much about the health and fitness space and really had a lot of incentive to get my health on track. Decided to just prioritize myself, my health, my fitness, and, never turn back. And just under a year ago, I decided to make the jump and become a coach. And part of that was just because I thought about my journey and kind of falling into all these different pitfalls. And I wanted to be able to help other people kind of navigate that and have fewer setbacks than I did and still be able to realize the same benefits from health and fitness. So that's really why I'm here today and just having such a great time with Deva, being able to talk to you guys every single week about different topics. Last week was actually one of my favorite topics. Really anything that has anything to do with food is going to be one of my favorite topics. But last week we talked about superfoods, which I think is such an interesting topic. And it was a great conversation where we talked about what they really are, why they're so good for your body, what it means for them to be nutrient dense. And we talked about a few of our favorite superfoods, some that are, pretty obvious that we eat every day that we don't think about being so great for your body. And then others that I think not many people are used to hearing about, like wheatgrass or, quinoa. I know that's building popularity, but there's a lot of people who have no idea what that is. So we talked about some of those, and then we discussed the science behind them, which I think was a really important part of the conversation, because there are a lot of claims out there about superfoods, curing this and doing that. And while we both think superfoods are amazing and that everybody should be eating the best food for themselves, it's hard to say that any one food does one thing or another because they affect us all so differently. So if you missed that conversation, I definitely encourage you to go check it out. But it's a great segue into tonight's conversation, which is all about supplements. And I think we have all used supplements at one point or another in life. But Deva and I kind of paired the population down into two camps of people. One camp who, they really rely on food for most of their vitamins and nutrients and everything that's good for them. And then the other camp of people who rely a lot more on supplements. So Deva, you want to talk about that first camp of people a little bit?
Yeah, and coming from this background of nutrition, if you are eating a well-balanced diet that, you're getting all of your vegetables and your fruit and your complex carbs and your proteins and all of those things, you really should have no reason to need supplements because you're getting all of your dietary and nutritional needs from your diet, right? So that's why there's like on one side of the extreme, there's this camp that's like, no, like I don't supplement, like I don't take anything extra, I get everything I need from my diet. Even vegetarians, there are ways for them to get protein in and other things. They're just getting it straight from the plant sources and not from animals. Um, they feel this, a lot of them feel the same way too. Like, I don't use supplements. I'm getting everything I need from my diet. And that's great if you are eating a well balanced diet. But so many of us aren't. Like, and in any given day, you need certain vitamins and nutrients that your body isn't going to store for you. You need them daily. And, you might hit a rough day where you might, miss your vegetables. And let's be honest, like, we've all been there. You've gotten to the end of the day and you're like, dang, I haven't had a green thing yet. And so then you get to this other camp of people who are like, oh, yes, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need my B12, I need my C, I need my, ginkgo biloba. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that camp?
Of course. And I love talking about this because I will gladly admit that I have been one of these people that, like, walking up and down the supplements aisle in CVS or Walmart or wherever, and just trying to figure out, okay, what can I buy this week? So supplements are just that. They're supplements for the food that you eat. They're not really meant to substitute anything. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people miss. But we have this camp of people who literally rely on supplements for every single thing in life. Like I said, I've been there. So you've got, I'm having a hard time remembering facts for school. Let me go and buy some ginkgo biloba. Or, my hair is starting to thin out a little bit. Let me go buy some biotin. I'm having trouble sleeping. Let me go buy some melatonin. And that can quickly get out of hand because, well, for one, how many of us have suffered from any or all of those things that I said? And that's just the tip of any sort of iceberg of the things that can be going wrong in your health or your life at any given time. So if you literally
take all of the vitamins that you mentioned too,
right? Shoot, those are all things that I've used. You know what I'm saying? So no shade. But if you literally try to take a pill for every ailment or everything that you think is wrong, you will end up taking a pound of pills a day. Can you imagine? And I think there are people who do that. Right?
They sure do. They're like eating a handful of pills for breakfast, and that is not life. It's not living.
That's no kind of life. And I think David mentioned that, there are people, a lot of people, who just don't get the right amount of vitamins and supplements and, vitamins and minerals and nutrients and supplement. And there are certain groups of people who do require supplements, which we will touch on later on in this conversation. But the first thing that you can do is always going to be to clean up your diet, make sure that you are eating those superfoods that we talked about last week so you can get as many of the vitamins, nutrients, and minerals and antioxidants and all these things that you need. But, there is this group of people who really think that a pill is a replacement for a healthy meal. Yeah. So Deva, can you talk a little bit about what are supplements really for? How should we be using them?
So, like you said, first you want to start off with making sure that you have this well-balanced diet and that you're getting all your food groups in and things like that. Supplements are really to fill in any holes or gaps in your nutrition. And you might need to consult with a nutritionist or a doctor at a certain point, but certain people have greater dietary needs than other people. You might have different stressors in your life. You might have different ailments, or you might be on certain medications that require you to fill in holes in a different way. Basically, supplements are really just there to supplement your diet. So diet is first, right? You can't supplement something that isn't there to begin with. So get the diet together and then fill in the holes as needed. So if you do have a late night of studying and you really need to focus, you can use it then. But there's also the making sure you're getting the right kinds of supplements and not getting things that are cheaper, like artificial and that will boost your system and not, add acidity and take away, or things like that. I think people need to spend more time researching and less time like jumping on the bandwagon of things. Does that make any sense?
Girl.
And I mean, we've all been there. I've seen like, those great posts on Instagram, and then I'm like, ooh, maybe I need this. Maybe I need to try this. It says it's gonna, help get my skin tighter, and I'm gonna feel better, and I'm gonna move faster. Maybe I need this supplement. And when in actuality you try it, and you're like, I feel no different. I think I just rubbed like plain old Vaseline on myself, and it did nothing.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, you're right. You really have to do extensive research because there's a lot of wrong information out there. And so if you're not doing your due diligence, you could end up hurting yourself more than you're helping. And you really have to be careful with that.
Absolutely. So there's also a way in which you can supplement for goals. So it kind of goes beyond just supplementing for filling in gaps in your nutrition, because some other, like, so you have that whole, okay, my dietary needs might be different than Clinesia's, but our goals might be different, and I might want to support those in a different kind of way. Do you want to touch on that a little bit, Nisha?
Yeah. And I feel when you say something like that, supplementing for goals, I think a lot of people's minds automatically go to fitness and or really, weight loss or muscle gain, which is a huge market in supplements for sure. And there is a way to use those things safely, and there's a way to not use them as safely. And this is one thing I do want to mention. I think a lot of fitness supplements definitely focus on weight loss. And the one thing I will say about those types of things is if the supplement, like what it says it can do, sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So just bear that in mind when it comes to most things related to weight loss. I'm sure we'll touch on this a little bit later in the conversation, but I just wanted to say that and be really upfront with something like that. That's something that, I see all these different commercials and things like that for these different pills that are like, okay, we burn fat, or we do this, or we do that. Do your due diligence. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But if you do have fitness goals, there is a way to use different types of supplements to aid in that. So many of you have probably heard of, pre-workouts and post-workout powders, usually that you mix in water or milk or something like that, and you have right around your workout times. Those are things that can help with your energy levels and help you power through workouts and then help your muscles recover afterwards. There are a plethora of different types of, pre-workouts and post-workouts. There are things that you can use even long after you work out to help your muscles recover later on. There are things that you can use during your workout to keep you hydrated. And again, just make sure that your energy levels are maximized and make sure that you are just getting the most out of your workouts. There are all these different types of things that I think are great, but you need to know what goal you're working towards and work with somebody who is knowledgeable about different products to make sure that you are using the right things for your body and not just, taking supplements for the heck of it. Because these things can be expensive too, so you don't want to be wasting money. But aside from the fitness side of it, your goals can be, other things. You can have a goal to, start getting healthy in life, right? So you might go do a detox. There are so many detoxes that are centered around pills and other different supplements that kind of just help cleanse your body and get you on the right track. You can have a goal to, like we talked about earlier, grow longer, thicker hair. And there are supplements that allow you to do that. It's all about just thinking about, okay, what is my goal? What do I really need? And working with a knowledgeable professional who can help you make the right decisions on what's for you. And I think that's going to be key with any of this stuff. Like, even if you know your goal is to put on muscle or lose weight or whatever, you need to work with somebody who knows what they're talking about and not just go and pick up, you know, XYZ product because, you know, so-and-so from down the street said that it was good. Do you want to add anything as far as kind of goals and supplements?
Yeah. Sometimes, and I mean, we can talk about what supplements we use as individuals, Quenisha, if you want as well. But sometimes we might have goals that are like totally not like fitness related, totally not really health related. And I'll give you an example. I took a really long road trip from New York to Georgia, and it was about like 15 hours worth of driving. And I really needed to focus, and I really needed to stay awake, and it was only me in the car. And yes, I would take breaks when I felt tired and things like that, but it requires an incredible amount of focus. If you've ever been in the car for any length of time, you know how, you know, count the cows you pass, and it gets pretty boring pretty fast, and you need to be able to focus. So in an instant like that, I took a supplement, and it was one that I was familiar with. It was by a company that I trusted. It was healthy for me. It supported my diet, and it was so much better than just taking like coffee or espresso or, you know, like an energy drink that has like other things in it. If you do the research on what you're putting in your body, supplements will enhance it. It should never be anything that leaves you feeling worse than you were before. And I'll leave that as my example for, you know, non-traditional goals and supplementing. But do you want to talk about some of the supplements that you use?
Sure. So
you on the spot?
So I actually use the same product that you use as far as focus. But I use it for sorry?
That Focus Energy Boost?
Love it. But I use it a little bit differently. I probably even use it a little bit more frequently than you. I right now am studying for the GMAT exam, and I don't know if anybody out there has taken it or an exam like it, but it takes an intense amount of studying, and it takes a lot of focus. And when you kind of have a lot on your plate and a lot going on in your life, your mind can be all over the place. So having that dedicated, you know, 2 or 3 hours of studying where I can just focus is really, really important. So Focus Energy has actually saved my life countless times and just allowed me to gain what I need from my study session. So I'm not just sitting there, you know, doing work while really I'm, you know, planning for tomorrow or, you know, thinking about a million other things that, you know, I could be doing instead with that 2-hour block of time. So I definitely use that. I also, I think this is a more traditional one, but I am doing a pretty intense weightlifting program right now. So I do make use of a recovery supplement after my workouts, just to make sure that my my muscles are getting as much protein as possible to help them recover and repair once I have done my damage to them during my workouts. So I'm definitely a fan of post-workouts. There are days that I don't want to get up and do my workout because I'm tired and I have a million things to do and I don't have the energy for it. And on those days, you know, I use a pre-workout to kind of just help me to just help me kind of get that energy and really focus and get the most out of my workouts. Now, Dava mentioned, you know, using products from either companies you trust or, you know, like I mentioned earlier, working with somebody who can pair you with a product that is going to work for you, your goals, and your lifestyle. And I think that's so, so important. You know, I don't just go and grab any old thing off the shelf. Like I do my research. I know what's going to work for me, and that's what I use and that's what I stick to. So I think, you know, just going back to that point that I made earlier and the point that Dava made about making sure it works for you, that's going to be super key. But I guess another one that people don't always think about is, you know, different herbs and things like that can be considered supplements as well. So I try to start my day with breakfast. I'll have, you know, a cup of green tea, and, you know, green tea is great for helping to detox your body and just make sure that, you know, your system is running smoothly. And so I use green tea for that, you know, like I said, start my day with it and just make sure that I'm putting something in my body that's kind of aiding my healthy diet, and just kind of helping to keep me detoxed and cleansed and things like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar to you. I also use a recovery. I probably use it kind of like the focused energy. I probably use it less often than you do because I
Yeah.
am not putting my body through the ringer quite as much and as frequently as you are. But on days where I know I do a tough workout, which are usually either more than likely my leg days, one of the biggest discouragements for me personally, and I know it's for a lot of other people, is when you feel sore the next day, you don't want to work out again. So if I feel like I cannot walk after leg day, I am not going to want to do whatever comes next, or arm day, or Pilates, or anything like that. I'm not going to want to move. So I try to make sure that on those days, I take my recover so that I'm not feeling that soreness, like I can't walk upstairs, or you've seen all the crazy memes about post leg day, so you know what it's
That's real.
like. It's a real struggle. Those memes are there for a reason. So
That's
I
life.
do take I do drink my Shakeology daily, which is also a supplement, and I have every boost that they offer with that. But those are all based on my needs, and I don't take all of them every day. I use the Power Greens boost. I have a large amount of vegetables that I need to eat in my meal plan. And I've mentioned this before, and I know it's really weird, but like I hate to chew, like I hate the like process of eating. So if I can get my like greens in a shake of some form or a faster way, I will do it. Or if I'm really busy and can't get in 6 servings of vegetables, then at least I know I have that boost in. And I also do the digestive health boost. Um, gut health is one of those things that's really important for people who have any type of stomach issues, any type of thyroid issues, which is not necessarily intuitive. But
Yeah.
all of that stuff is really dependent on a really good gut health. So if ever I feel off or anything like that, I know it's time for a scoop of that. But if you have like celiac disease, if you have gluten allergies, if you have thyroid issues, if you have like irritable bowel syndrome, any of those things, it's really important that you have really good gut health. So I keep that on hand as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Occasionally, I take a pre-workout, which really helps me on really intense workout days. It also helps me on non-intense workout days. I know it's a little weird. I might take less of it on those days, but it does give me that extra bit of motivation. So I
Yeah.
know kind of like it's kind of like a mind game almost, but I know if I take that half scoop or full scoop of pre-workout, I have no choice but to work out now, right? Like I feel pumped, I feel motivated. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Like again, you've seen the memes, you know what it's like. They're there for a reason. So it gives me a little bit of motivation to even start the workout, but then I can push harder during it. And so
Yeah.
I know I'm doing like my full burn, and I'm again that's one of those supplementing for goals type things. So,
Yeah.
and then with Shakeology, it's also, everybody's results are different, and they don't guarantee any type of results. So at the very least, I know I'm doing something good for my body by giving it all the nutrients it needs. But it also helps me balance my hormones and things like that. So I'd rather be on those supplements than be on medication or in the doctor's office every quarter having my blood drawn, which I absolutely hate. So
Yeah.
that's my trade-off for that. So I'd rather supplement and get everything I know I need for my additional needs for my diet than to have to be talking to the doctor later.
Yeah, and you actually bring up a great point, which I'd love to kind of go into more detail on, and that is consulting with your doctor about different supplements that you are interested in using. I know, I made a joke earlier about how, I've been the person who used all of these different supplements, but it's real, and I was that person, and at least a couple of times it wasn't good for me. And I'll even give a couple of examples. So one of my first experiences with supplements was when I was still in high school. And again, this was the very beginning of my what I consider my health and fitness journey, where I was kind of trying to figure things out, but I knew nothing. I didn't know a single thing. So I saw this commercial on TV about some pill that it was a diet pill that helps you burn fat and lose weight. So I was taking that every day, and I would get shakes. I would get the shakes in class, and I had no idea why, and I was losing weight. So I guess from that sense it was working, but the side effects were horrific. And it was kind of scary to be, 16, 17 years old and experiencing these side effects that I kind of knew. I didn't even know what was really going on. And I didn't want to share it with my mom or anything like that. So it was kind of I had to deal with it on my own. And then even fast forward a few years later, I knew a little bit more, but I was hearing a lot of people talking about maca. And so I was like, well, let me try it. And again, we've mentioned this before, that different things affect people differently. So just because one person said this was amazing and it did this for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do that for you. So I heard somebody say that maca was amazing, and I looked online at, just random Google stuff, and people were saying it was so amazing. So I was like, let me order it. Ordered it from Lord knows where, and started taking these pills, and went to the doctor for my annual checkup. And my doctor's like, what in the world are you doing? Your liver count, your numbers are ridiculously off. You're putting yourself in danger if whatever you're doing. And I was like, nothing's really going on differently in my life. At the time I was working out, not super consistently, but I was working out, I was eating okay. And I was like, but I just started taking this maca. People say it's amazing. And he was like, yeah, stop doing that and come back in a month and let's see where your numbers are. And I did. And I went back, and he was like, you're normal. He was like, don't take a supplement like that without talking to me beforehand. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to. But that's an example where I had no idea what was going on inside my body. I'm just taking this stuff because somebody said it was awesome. I don't know if I really felt any better taking it, but I didn't feel worse. But inside, something crazy was going on. So consulting with your doctor is so important, right, Dava?
Absolutely. And we talked about this last week too. You never know what superfoods, what supplements might interact with any medication that you're taking. You always want to make sure that you're not doing more damage than good. And, Khadijah has a very scary, scared straight moment, with supplements. If you feel anything different, definitely make sure you're going to the doctor. If you're not consulting beforehand, like we're saying you should. But there are times when you just won't feel any different. And you really, I guess the key is really to find the balance for you. So, of course, taking every vitamin on the shelf that's, in the vitamin aisle at CVS is not going to be the answer, right? Because we want to start with diet first. But then also being realistic and acknowledging that not everybody gets everything they need from their diet alone. It's unrealistic in the day and age that we live in. Even on my meal plan, I can't tell you, maybe once in a blue moon do I eat all the containers I'm supposed to eat of everything in a day. It's impossible. I don't know clean enough for that to ever happen. So, there will come a time and place where you do need supplements, and it is okay. You don't have to look at them like they're the Antichrist. But, be safe, be smart, do your research, check with your doctor, check out the company, see where it's made, see if there's GMOs or, any other type of artificial ingredients in there. Just do your full due diligence before you put something in your body that could potentially do it harm. I don't know how else to address that point.
I mean, that's exactly what it is, though, And I think it's just going back to that point that you are not always going to be aware of what's going on in your body. So you have to just do your due diligence ahead of time. And sometimes that's the research, but we often misinterpret the things that we read. So having a good relationship and conversation with your doctor is going to be key. And sometimes they're going to tell you something that you don't want to hear, and just know that, just like us, they have your best interest at heart, and they just want you to be the healthiest version of you that you can be. But again, it's all about finding the balance. like Davis said, we live in a day and age where like it's hard to get all of the vitamins and nutrients that you need just from food alone. So kind of knowing what you're deficient in and kind of taking steps to amend that is probably going to be your first step. I mean, for most people, a multivitamin might be fine versus, you know, well, let me get this pill and that pill and the other pill. But again, like, I don't know how many different ways and times we can stress. Talk to your doctor, because not only do, you know, these different supplements interact with certain medications that we're taking, but they also interact with one another differently. So having too much of one thing may not be great. So you just really have to know what you're putting in your body. Yeah. I feel like you, David. I'm like, I don't know how many ways to say it.
There's only so many ways to skin a cat. And also knowing that there is only so much your body can absorb at one time. So you don't need to like choose vitamins for a meal. And then you also get to that point of wasting your money, because you're, you know, some of these are water soluble, and you will literally just pee them out, and then you will have neon color urine, and that is all your money literally going down the toilet because you just took too much stuff, right? And so really be sensible and really find that balance, and know that it's really not about rushing to the finish line, right? Because fitness is a journey. Like, you're always going to be working on it. You can't just get to your goal weight or your goal size, or, you know, your goal of feeling good or feeling sexy, and then that's it. You're always going to have to like maintain it at some type of level. So really, what's the rush? But I mean, just being honest. And I think it's really important that people start letting go of this idea of a magic pill or a quick fix, which is like really important, because next week we're going to be talking about quick fixes and like all these things out there. And it's like all over my Instagram pages, like everywhere you look, somebody's doing somebody's rap and somebody's waist trainer and somebody else's gang. And then like there's like 50 million different types of tea I need to drink from like all around the world. You got like Australian tea and this person's tea, and I'm like, what is going on, and what really is the rush? Find the balance. Take your time. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, I feel like I always say I can't wait for next week's conversation, but I really can't wait. I hope you guys all bring an example of your favorite quick fix so we can discuss.
Yeah, and not to say that we're throwing like all of them under the bus. If you've had success with the quick fix, or you know, or if you think that they're great, feel free to pop on and, you know, tell us what your results were, tell us how you like it. Or maybe, I know certain things are good for certain situations, but they might not be good for all situations. And it's kind of, again, that finding the balance and finding that moderation, or finding that gap to fill in and supplement. So I guess these are a different kind of supplement, if you will.
They are. I think so. I think it'll be a fun conversation, because we'll definitely talk about those situations where, maybe you should just go get one of those things. And you guys are going to want to hear about that. So definitely tune in next week. Same time, same place, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time, right here on Blab. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you feel that anybody can benefit from this conversation about supplements, feel free to share this recording with them, and then bring them next week so we can talk about quick fixes and they can hear that conversation as well. So thanks again, everyone, for joining. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Bye.